period for about 4-5 years now. The Central Kofi Akpafulolobi Likpe matter. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I am on. I hope you are too.
Nice to be back.
Well, okay. So first, I think your line is not particularly clear. I guess you're on the move.
I am. Actually, that's really spray. Let me see. So, is this okay?
Yes, fantastic. It's fantastic. In fact, first, I don't know if you read this one-page green letter that we've seen so far from the presidency writing to the person who petitioned over Sandro Kofi Akpafulolobi Likpe. Have you seen that? And what are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, let me just say that the judicial decisions could be interpreted one way or the other, as long as they are within the bounds of law. Why not? So that decision that the judiciary took in regard to the petition, but to be fair, I didn't really petition it about Sall, not at all. But I would have thought that everybody with a little gumption of common sense would have realized that that particular most inglorious decision that was taken, connivingly taken by the EC, was one of the most dastardly acts that could have ever been done to a people. So for anybody to sit and write what the judiciary wrote, well, I can only say that that's their interpretation. I have my own views about that. But I think that maybe they didn't understand the government of the situation to have decided that they would not interpret it the way they did, that they did not see intentional whatever they wrote there. It's a bit of a nonsense, really, reading that part of the argument, claiming that it was not intentional. What was not intentional? This lady told my chiefs, met with her on November 30th, and assured us, together with whatever they call operations people, claiming that they will be voting the election because we were apprehended. We knew that there was going to be something untoward. Then you assured them, 5 days later, issue a letter in the dead of night. What could be not more intentional than that? I mean, ballots were on their way to the place Central Kofi Akpafulolobi. We knew that, we saw that. Then they couldn't vote. No reason was given. And up to today, they didn't give any simple, any common sensical reasoning. Except to say, well, we didn't do anything. How silly. Look, I remember the last Attorney General, the former Attorney General, actually suggested that, look, he kept telling them that, look, be careful of what you're trying to do. Anyway, as I say, there may be other reasons than what was written in that particular green letter, which is quite an insult, really, to the people of Sall, if you ask me. But like I said, there may be other reasons conjured apart from what everybody saw ahead. So I don't understand. I'm sure that maybe the government did not want, or maybe the judicial did not want another. People will be complaining that the EC is going to be removed after the CJ has been removed. I can live with that. Maybe that should have been probably apparent, which really, rather than what has been written in green or red or whatever they wrote. In any case, well, people, they seem to have moved on. But there's going to be one last act in this South thing. I'm sure it will be coming soon in the next 2 weeks or so.
One last act.
This is the verdict of the judiciary, and I applaud them. As I've already did, I said the judiciary is unshackled because hitherto, if it were under Nanado, definitely the decision would have been very different. Definitely would have been different, not necessarily in our favor, but obviously in the other way around. So look, it is what it is. I respect the judiciary, but I disagree with them on the Sall matter.
And it seems to mean no worse in stating your disagreement. That there's no way anybody will look at the facts and come to the conclusion they've come to.
Of course. I mean, let's say that the judiciary uses a sort of rules in order to arrive at their decision. In this case, it's like a crime, and they're asking whether there was an intent to commit, let's say, murder. Yeah, there was not an intent to disenfranchise the people of Sall. Anybody with a gumption of common sense would have realized that when ballots were on their way to Central Kofi Likpe, we all were told that we were going to vote. If it didn't happen, it was not by force of nature. Why? Were there thunderstorms? Was the sea covering the whole of Sall? Were there apes attacking us? Were there aliens attacking us so that that part of the country would have been cut off? So what do they mean by not intentional? I don't think that explanation needs to be given properly and probably wait for the entire to look into it. Unfortunately, this between the judiciary and an unshackled judiciary and then the intentions of the president. I'm sure the president himself is not happy about this particular thing, but of course, which is what I mean by saying that the judiciary is unshackled now, because if they're another party, I'm sure they will not even read this thing to the cover. I distract that guy so much that I don't know. Anyway, look, it is what it is. Sall may have moved on because, well, maybe that's the only comforting thing, really. I mean, if there's the case that this had come on the back of the fact that we were still disenfranchised, hell will break loose. We'll definitely go to other lengths to make sure that we shall correct this infamous decision. But of course, now it's somehow mitigated because Sall seems to have been absolved after a 4-year hiatus. So now Sall has a representative, so maybe people may not say, oh, don't stop the fight. Which is why, frankly, I didn't really take part in this petition because I said, okay, look, I really want to. We got charged on the other ones, by the way. So we got EC on the other charge, criminal intent to destroy this biometric thing. And Shrag held our opinion against the lawyers' non-commonsensical approach, by the way. Anyway, so you realize that if we actually petitioned, I'm sure that I don't think that this really would have stood. Maybe I'm yet to read the Sall thing because I don't know how they wrote it, but for the judiciary to write that it was not intentional, maybe the arguments are not made strongly. I guarantee you that if we are taking part in that particular petition, I don't know, maybe the outcome may have been different. But hey, it is what it is.
And I'm guessing then, based on what you're saying, you will agree with Martin Pebu when he says that perhaps both the petition and the Chief Justice's decision should be published for all of us to read.
Oh, yes, it has to be published. I mean, because I don't know what they wrote, which is the reason I'm saying that if they say it's not intentional, I don't know whether the people said, oh, they intentionally did this and all of that. I mean, we would have used other arguments anyway. I mean, clearly, if you look at the pleadings we made in court so far on this matter, I don't think even the cursory references to intention would have just left them off the hook like that. I don't think they would have made those arguments. They would have made much stronger arguments. But it is what it is,
I see. Do you have any, and what do you think about the dismissal of the other petitions on the OSP?
Frankly, I have a view that the OSP seems to be in a very tight situation. I mean, this guy is hated by both camps, the NDC and the MPP. Obviously, the MPP because he didn't do their bid in the Airbus, so they don't like it. The NDC also feels that this guy is getting too much leverage, and he might do the same thing he did to some people too, which is the whole idea of an OSP. It's supposed to be feared. So no matter how you columnize it, that's why the Attorney General, who is my friend, and I disagree with him entirely. You don't target the OSP and make him irrelevant and say that because you don't like the position of the OSP, you want to render it non-existent. Well, we decided that we didn't want this type of approach, which is why we wanted an OSP. Like it or not, you go after the politician. Unlike you, the AG, who could give a 60%, you do a 60-40%. I don't think the OSP will counter that such thing, which is why we wanted an OSP in the first place. So you see, the guy is hated both ways, both camps. So all these missiles that are being thrown, well, it's expected, of course. I know my brother Martin Pebu has his own issues with the OSP as well, and I think it's well within his right to disagree with him. I don't feel that he should be chastised, but to the level of saying that he should be dismissed, or it's a bit difficult. You see, especially when we are fighting corruption, corruption is fighting us back. It's really, really difficult. Unfortunately, the people who are fighting, they are not fighting on the basis of corruption issues, but rather the fact that it shouldn't exist. It's a bit difficult to counter. So that's why, for me, I'm a bit ambivalent on the OSP matter in this case. Because I think the basis for the removal that the people wanted appeared not to be really, really related to really like something really bad and procedural issues. Really, I mean, I really don't take that to say that. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
That you allow the Koreata to escape and all of that. I mean, look at the fact of the case at the time. I mean, this was a precedent and a person. And definitely another would look the other way. Who are you to go and become like a grandstanding person? They don't even cooperate with you.
I see.
So it's difficult.
And let me conclude by asking you this question, because I know you've been a student of our politics for quite a while now. Of course, the persons within the National Democratic Congress are not happy about the conclusions that have been reached by the Chief Justice, and perhaps are starting to blame President Mahama. The conclusions that have been reached by the Chief Justice, how this matter has perhaps
about the EC.
Yes, both the EC and the EC particularly. How much blame can you lay at the doorsteps of the president? Because it seems the blame is being directed.
I don't think the president has done anything. The president just receives petitions and then hands them over to the judiciary. I don't think the president, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not like Nanado's time when the petition was not even signed against the EC and he entertained it. You understand? This was not that type of kululu thing. This guy just received it handed over. That's a sincere aspect of this whole thing. As I'm telling you, I strongly believe the judiciary must have reached this conclusion based on the fact that they didn't want another atmosphere of, I mean, the thought that maybe because independent institutions are being targeted, I forget the ECJ have been removed and all of that stuff. So I think that there are other reasons other than what were written on that paper that they claim the reasons for leaving the EC. I mean, this is EC. The level of stupidity they're entertaining most of the time. I really, anyway, that like I said, because it's only a judiciary that is on shackles that can reach that position. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But if the president were really controlling the judiciary, I don't think they would have reached that conclusion. You understand what I mean when I say therefore the judiciary is on shackles? Because the president has no hand in it. And he doesn't need to have a hand in it. There's a separation of powers. So yes, I don't think they should blame the president at all. But after the EC's competence is not in doubt. The fact that what they did was criminal is not in doubt. The fact that they criminally bought amateur equipment is not in doubt. The fact that they criminally are trying to throw away the working equipment, which we took them to strike across our position, is not in doubt at all. As I'm saying, there are other reasons other than what is written on the paper.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, Mr. Franklin Cudjoe is founding president IMANI Africa. Also agrees with the publication of both the petition and, of course, the reasoning of the Chief Justice. We all want to read it. I want to read it, but like he said, what is on that green paper alone personally does not convince me. Because SM 1461, a justice of the Superior Court. So the Electoral Commission chairperson is equated to, I think, a Court of Appeal judge. A justice of the Superior Court or a chairman of the regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior or incompetence